In 1978, Chicago police uncovered a series of crimes that shook the world. These crimes were so bizarre, even the investigators were left speechless. A body was pulled out from under the floorboards. It was here police realized they were dealing with a sick, twisted mind, one that found pleasure in killing. In today's video, we'll be talking about one of the most evil serial killers of all time, John Wayne Gacy, also known as the Killer Clown. Why was he given the nickname? What were his motives behind the killing spree? How was he caught? We'll talk about all of these and more. It's definitely scary when a serial killer is on the loose. Serial killers are those who kill a minimum of 2 people in separate incidents. There have been many serial killers in the past few hundred years. Each of them preyed on innocent people and killed them for no apparent reason. From Jack the Ripper to Jeffrey Dahmer, our culture is obsessed with monsters. John Wayne Gacy was known as the Killer Clown. While he's confirmed to have killed 33 young men, mostly teenagers, there may be more. Let's begin by understanding his background first. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17, 1942, and grew up in Chicago. He had 2 sisters. His family had Polish and Danish ancestry. While John was close to his mother and sisters, he suffered physical abuse at the hands of his father, an alcoholic. John's mother tried to protect him, which prompted his father to label him a mama's boy. John not only suffered physical abuse, he was also sexually abused by a neighbor. He did not tell his father about this, as he was afraid he would still be blamed for it. When he turned 18 years old, John ran away to Las Vegas. In Vegas, he worked in a mortuary, where he would sleep in the embalming room. He even worked as a pallbearer. One evening, John entered the coffin of a teenage male, where he hugged and stroked the dead body. Even John became shocked by this part of his personality. Not long after, he returned home to Chicago, where he started working at a shoe store. It was here he first met his first wife, Marilyn Myers. They married in 1964. That same year, he had a sexual experience with a male co-worker after getting drunk. Eventually, he committed his first crime. John's father-in-law bought 3 KFC stores in Waterloo, Iowa. The young man was offered the role of manager, which paid $15,000 a year, along with profit sharing. He even got to move into Marilyn's parents' house, which was vacated for the couple. But it wasn't smooth sailing from here. John started a small club in the basement of his house. His employees from KFC would come over to shoot pool and drink alcohol. It was here John would make advances on teenage boys. If they resisted, he'd say it was a joke or that he was testing their morals. During this time, his wife gave birth to 2 children. Seeing John raise a family himself, his father apologized for all the abuse throughout his childhood, but the damage had already been done. While he was caught in Maryland, John had joined the United States Junior Chamber, known shortly as JC's. This was a leadership training and service organization for people under 40. He did such good work in Illinois, he was named 3rd most outstanding JC of the state. After moving to Iowa, he joined the local JC's chapter, where he and other members frequently participated in wife swapping, pornography, and drug use. In 1967, he sexually assaulted 15-year-old Donald Voorhees, the son of a fellow JC. John was given a 10-year prison sentence in 1968, but was released on parole after just 18 months for good behavior. John's second marriage and divorce didn't help either. While serving out his sentence, Marilyn got a divorce. John moved back to Chicago after being released from prison and stayed with his mother. He eventually purchased a house for himself, where he organized parties for his neighbors. John also started his own construction business, hiring teenage boys from around the neighborhood. In 1972, he married Carol Hoff, who had 2 daughters. By all accounts, he was a devoted stepfather to the 2 children. He attended church regularly and was well liked by his community. John also introduced his alter ego, Pogo the Clown, visiting hospitals and cheering up sick children. He would also throw children's parties in his backyard and perform as Pogo there. His wife Carol started finding the wallets of young men in John's car, and had also complained to John that their basement smelled like death. The couple eventually divorced in 1976. Soon after, John committed his first murder. His first known killing was in 1972, when he trapped 16-year-old Timothy Jack McCoy at the local bus station. He took the boy on a sightseeing tour and told him he could stay at his house for the night before returning to his father's home in Nebraska. Timothy entered John's bedroom the next morning after setting the breakfast table as a grateful gesture. He happened to be carrying a kitchen knife at the time, which led John to think Timothy was attacking him. After a quick fight, John killed Timothy by repeatedly stabbing him in the chest. John buried Timothy in the crawl space of his house and put a layer of concrete on top of it. He later described the feeling of murder as being orgasmic and said that death was the ultimate thrill. This ignited John's twisted thirst for killing. John Gacy murdered 2 other people before 1975. By the turn of that year, his frequency of killings increased. He killed a large number of victims between 1976 and 1978. Living on his own allowed him to do this. While he remained a good citizen, his neighbors started noticing changes in his behavior. He was often seen with young men who would arrive and depart from his home in the early morning. One neighbor even recalled hearing screaming and shouting from one of the nearby houses, but wasn't sure which house it was coming from. Within the first couple of months of John's divorce, he killed and buried 2 young men by the names of Darrell Sampson and Randall Reffert. Over the next 3 years, there were a number of killings reported every 2 months or so. Eventually, the law caught up with him. The murder of Robert Piest turned out to be the final nail in his coffin. On December 11, 1978, John Gacy visited a local pharmacy where 13-year-old Robert was working part-time. While the teen was within earshot, John mentioned he was looking to hire teenage boys for his business and would pay $5 an hour. This was almost double the money Robert was earning at the pharmacy. His mother came to pick him up from work at 9 p.m. so that they could celebrate her birthday. But Robert asked her to wait so he could talk to John Gacy about the job. An hour later, he was dead. When Robert did not return as promised, his family approached the police. Background checks revealed John's prison sentence in Iowa, as well as an outstanding battery charge. John denied offering the kid a job and said he would come later to give a statement to the police. John reached the police station in the early morning. He was covered in mud and claimed to be involved in a car accident. The police grew suspicious and conducted a search of his house, where they found a receipt belonging to Robert Piest. Finally, John was arrested and prosecuted for his crimes. By now, the police were already suspicious of John. Coincidentally, he was caught with marijuana while under surveillance, which led to his arrest on December 21, 1978. Another search of his home was carried out. Authorities were shocked by what they discovered there. There was a door to a crawl space under John's home where bones were found. This opened the Pandora's box that led to John verbally confessing to killing 33 young men. But just a verbal confession wouldn't do much until the bodies were discovered. Upon being interrogated further, John revealed the names of 6 of his victims. He also drew a diagram to show where the bodies were buried under his home. Authorities began digging and uncovered the remains of 29 bodies. John was now charged with multiple murders, aggravated kidnapping, sexual assault, and taking indecent liberties with minors. He was tried for all 33 murder charges simultaneously. John's lawyers tried pleading not guilty and claimed John suffered from poor mental health and insanity, but prosecutors argued for a death sentence. Ultimately, the jury convicted him of murdering 33 young men and sentenced John to death. John's subsequent appeals were rejected one by one. Finally, on the 10th of May 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection at Stateville Correctional Center. There have been so many shocking crimes throughout history. Dare to learn more? Let's keep your curiosity going with a couple more videos, shall we? Check out 7 notorious Nazis who escaped but were hunted and tried. You could also watch our video on the greatest imposter in the world. Who is Ferdinand Waldo Damara? Go ahead, click one, or better yet, watch both and learn more about crimes and mysteries. Which serial killers keep you up at night? Let us know in the comments below.